Okay, I think we are live now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just wait a couple of minutes more.
Yeah, yeah. Little.
कि हाँ viewers.
So why do you do it through this? Just before. Okay, why don't straight on Facebook? A lot of people do straight on Facebook, isn't it? I don't know. जो है.
Yeah, I don't know if you can join two screens in Facebook Live.
Yeah, I guess it's like Zoom. Whoever speaks, kind of ऐसा होता है ना?
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
Okay, ठीक.
Yeah, I'm not aware about it. Mm, yeah. There are two viewers right now. So I think shall we start?
Yeah. I think let's start. Let's
Yeah,
introduction.
yeah.
Hmm.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Drashti. Karma Foundation and Ahmedabad Book Club welcomes internationally renowned crime fiction writer Mr. Vish Dhamija. His works are Bindi Bazaar, Unlawful Justice, Deja Karma, and many more. His latest book is uh, Prisoner's Dilemma, this one. And he is the only writer of Indian origin listed among, yeah. He is the only writer of Indian origin listed among the legal thrillers or major legal thriller authors of the world. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank
Please tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, thank you, Drashti, for a lovely introduction. I am Vish Thamija and born and raised in Ajmer, Rajasthan, and have lived in Delhi. I've lived in Jamnagar. I've lived in Chennai. I lived in Mumbai. I have traveled extensively in India due to my jobs before moving to Dubai. I've lived in Tel Aviv, and I then came to study in Manchester. I now live in London, but my love for India remains as any Indians would. So I keep writing books to keep in touch with the country, and people like Drashti obviously speak to me to kind of enhance my love all the time. I'm very glad to be here with Ahmedabad Book Club, Drashti, Karma Foundation, and Pan Macmillan India, our publishers who've introduced us. And welcome all of you.
Coming from a corporate world, what drove you into writing and especially thrillers?
So that these are two questions. The corporate world
Right.
is, I mean, I don't know. I always thought that I wanted to write one story.
Hmm.
It is one of those things in your bucket list that I must do before I die. And I started writing in 2008. I wrote some, and I kept telling my wife. So she said that if you want to write, go write. I mean, there's no point in just talking about it. So I wrote a few chapters and showed it to her, and she said, "कहाँ से copy करी है?" So I thought it has to be good for someone to copy, right? Otherwise, why
Right.
would she ask?
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, now I'll finish the story." I finished the story, and it was in those times. I'm talking 2009, 10. Publishers wouldn't take online manuscript, so you had to
Okay.
publish it, and publish के
Right.
बिना you have to write two lines का gap in between, and it can't be printed on the second side. So first post itself costed me like. So I said, यार ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल काम है. I found someone
Hmm.
who was ready to submit on my behalf, and therefore the first book got published in 2010.
Okay.
And then I thought my thing was over. I mean, that was my ambition, but and I didn't think I was a writer, but I think the book did kept selling and selling. It is now in its 23rd or 24th edition. It keeps selling every year. And people started writing to me, you get the email address and why, when is the next one coming? So I thought, let me write another one. And that is when I wrote Bhindi Bazaar, which was in 2014, which is after a gap of 4 years.
Right.
Since then, I've kind of started writing more regularly, and I've got 10 books in 11 years or whatever. So
Okay.
that's how I moved from corporate to, but I didn't move from corporate immediately. So I was working for Ford Motor Company till about 2018. And then I took a year off thinking I'll become a writer, but it was very boring at home. So what I did was I went and bought a preschool, which I run on the side, because that is my main occupation. Writing is still a hobby.
Okay.
Why crime thrillers? Well, without realizing, when we were reading comics when we were kids, Phantom, I don't know, it is before your time, Phantom, Tarzan,
Yes.
Asterix, Tintin,
Yeah.
they were all
I have
fighting
read
crime.
that. Yeah.
They were all fighting crime in their way. So I guess
Right.
the crime thriller passion
Right.
existed before we knew we were reading crime.
Right.
And so that is what I read.
Tintin. Even Tintin.
Tintin, yeah, as an investigator, he just fights
Right.
crime. It
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
comical and it is funny. And then
Yeah.
you graduate to Enid Blyton, and then you graduate to Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie, and after reading so much,
Hmm.
I never could get into romance. So romance is good on screen for me, but I like more crime thriller and suspense and stuff, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's how the genre.
Right. Right. Okay. I really enjoyed reading Prisoner's Dilemma and found it very interesting. Like it was literally a page turner. Every page had a different story altogether, and the chapters as well. The way you have differentiated the past and the present,
Thank
it
you.
was really good. And it really felt as if we are witnessing the scene unfold right in front of us. We are just standing at the scene and it's just happening right in front of us. Do
That's
tell the viewers a little more about it.
so Prisoner's Dilemma. As I mean, you read the book. It is a
Yes.
concept in economics
Yes.
where I think there's a whole model of it that even though it is in the best interest of the two people
Hmm.
to collaborate, they
Hmm.
end up kind of going away because one is kept in the dark about the other, and
Right.
the person mediating will always come and tell you rumors. So it depends on how much trust you have on your partner, friend, whoever
Right.
is there, because in the event that you cannot speak to the other person,
Hmm.
there is a chance that someone can play dirty.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I did highlight that with the example right in the beginning of the book, which is about the professor and these two
Yes.
boys, that
Yes.
you have collaborated that. And even in that, there is a 25% chance that you will go right. There are only four wheels,
Hmm.
and largely only front wheels get punctured in a car, not the rear wheels. So
Right.
there's a high probability you can go right, but it just enhances the flavor of what Prisoner's Dilemma is. So that theory being in mind, I thought I could come up with a plot which kind of highlighted the theory.
Right.
One, secondly, played because this is how psychological thrillers work.
Hmm.
So the author or the narrator omits one part of the story. So it is the reader who doesn't know what's
Right.
happening in the other part.
Right.
And that's
Right.
how you place the most psychological thriller, whether it's Gone Girl.
Right.
You don't know
Right.
what's happening with the girl there.
Right.
And Silent Patient, if you haven't read, I strongly recommend.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
must
I
read
will
that book,
read.
Silent Patient. It is amazing because the narrator is in first person and they've omitted certain parts. So that's why Prisoner's Dilemma worked, because I didn't show you one side of the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it would have been very clear.
Right. Right. Well, the character of Senior Inspector Urfi Khan is very hilarious, and I wanted to know what was going in your mind while penning him down.
No, so I see it's a common fallacy
Hmm.
that the strongest card in the deck is an ace. It's not an
Right.
ace. It's the Joker,
Right.
because the Joker can substitute and put into anything. So Arfi, irrespective of how clumsy he is shown in the book,
Right.
it is revealed it's not clumsy. He just does it to kind of get the flavor of it. And I thought if you had a bumbling inspector, somebody who falls and trips and makes
Yes.
trips and forgets names, there is a larger likelihood for the reader to believe that the police inspector is not getting hold of the
Yeah.
thing. Whereas the truth is just the opposite. I don't want to reveal. The truth
Yeah.
is that he's doing all these tricks to
Yes.
put the person at ease, thinking, I'm an idiot, I can win against him. And that's how Urfi came into play. Because if Urfi was shown as the main hero, then you would know that he can't solve it. Or so it's
Right.
just playing with the characters to kind of get that story out.
Right. Well, usually a story has an evident protagonist and an antagonist. But while reading this book, I felt that this story doesn't.
Hmm.
Well, did you write the characters that way, or did you really wanted to show a story which doesn't have an evident protagonist or antagonist?
See, in the end, there is an evident protagonist, right? Are
But like from the beginning, you just wanted to show that I think Joker and Ace thing.
Joker and Ace thing, which was fine. But
Right.
the other, I mean, you can call them antagonists, or you can call them the main characters are those two boys who kind of plan and
Right.
carry on with the burglary. So, there is no clear protagonist or antagonist in the beginning, but they are characters. But the story, which is also a testimony that you can have if the story is effective, if the characters are real life which people can relate to, you don't actually need a superhero or a superheroine to kind of carry on the story. The story should carry based on the characters,
Very
and you don't
true.
have to see them in good light or bad light. You can
Very
see
true.
them as
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
People
Very
are,
true.
it's like one of those. I mean, I don't want to compare, but in those 80s or 90s, there used to be this parallel cinema, right? The art films or whatever. You never had a clear hero or a villain. It was just a story of normal characters, which happens day to day. So there are other books where you have strong protagonists in my books or strong antagonists, but not in this one. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, you have been called India's John Grisham. How do you feel about that?
See, all comparisons,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying in my case, I'm not saying in books, I'm not saying in music, I'm not saying in films, are basically a waste of time. John Grisham, okay, when it first came because of my legal thriller, it was quite a, it's a kind of an honor, nothing else. But there's no comparison. He's like mighty big. He's sold millions of books across the world. He primarily writes in legal genre fiction, whereas I write across the crime fiction genre, different genres of crime. There is no comparison. People should not be compared. He is big, but the comparison just puts you in a basket. It raises expectations of people. The only similarity here is that he writes legal thrillers and I write a few legal thrillers. And when the first legal thriller went to the media, वो भाई साहब बैठे होंगे कहीं पेन लेके उन्होंने कहा what is a legal thriller? वो जॉन ग्रिशम लिखता है. So, I think that is how it came into it. There is no merit in that. Uh, आप I can't feel any comparison. There is no need to. But हमारे यहाँ थोड़ा ज़्यादा. Let me give you an example. The biggest film star on the planet today is Shah Rukh Khan.
Right.
Hands down, anything, including the American. But nobody calls Brad Pitt कि भी अमेरिका के शाहरुख खान है. हमें वो कंपेयर करने का पता नहीं क्यों शौक है. Nobody says कि Tom Cruise is America Shahrukh Khan. ऐसा तो नहीं बोलता कोई. हमें उल्टा कंपेयर करने का कि वो ही so and so is India's Agatha Christie. So why?
Why?
Everyone is their own right. Small, big, भाई आपके बड़े होने से मैं तो छोटा नहीं होता. So what is the point of comparison? Yeah, and it's after a while, शुरू में अच्छा लगता है. After a while, I find it a bit demeaning. There's no point.
Right.
So I generally kind of shake away. But ठीक है. अब वो कही होता है ना, there are things which you like that happen to you. There are things which you have no control on. अब वो किसी ने जाके विकिपीडिया पे लिख दिया, किसी ने जाके वहां लिख दिया. I can't go around. और फिर वो क्या है, जो भी पढ़ता है वो पहला दिमाग आता है. And it's quite a big name. So वो एकदम stick हो जाता है. तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Over a period of time, when I grow old, maybe people भूल जाएंगे तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. But ठीक है. तब तक complain तो नहीं कर सकते.
True. Okay. Well, your fans, which surely includes me after reading this book, and I'm definitely going to read all of your other books after this.
Sorry?
Must be eager to know if you have been writing anything right now.
I am. I have written. One is I think slated to release end of this year or beginning of next year, which is called Cold Justice. It's a legal thriller. It is not a sequel, but it is in the same series as Unlawful Justice. So it's got the same characters of Akash and okay, it's got the same characters. It's
right.
People both the set of lawyers, and it's a legal thriller. उसके बाद there is a re-release of Deja Karma because वो पुराने publisher have sold the rights to Pan Macmillan. So that should be towards the end of next year or third quarter of next year. उसके बाद there is Rita Ferreira lined up because Rita Ferreira को काफी time हो गया. There are 3, so I've started penning that, which is called, for the time being, it's called Showtime.
Okay.
तो वो है. बाकी तो I keep sketching and whatever, पर अभी 3 हैं तो अभी कोई जल्दी है नहीं लिखने की. And why rush into something?
Right. True.
Hmm.
Okay. Besides this genre, what other genres would you like to explore apart from romance? Like you already clarified
नहीं,
that
ऐसा बात नहीं है,
you are
romance.
not inclined towards romance right now.
नहीं, I have nothing against romance because most of my books will have an element of romance. कि भाई वो
Okay.
कहीं ना कहीं love, if you read Nothing Lasts Forever, it is a romantic suspense. Same as with Nothing Else Matters. So it is a romantic suspense.
Okay.
But हाँ, relying
Not
fully on
wholly
romance.
focused. Yeah.
अभी वैसी कोई मेरे स्टोरी दिमाग में नहीं आई. So I always tell people कि I am a crime writer and I have stuck to crime, but that does not mean I will not write anything else.
Right.
पर उसका so crime में ही there's so much to explore. So there's this romantic suspense we spoke about. Then Rita Ferreira is hardcore, dark, police procedural.
Okay.
High Start is this crime caper where the Dawn की तरह वो निकल जाता है. Then you have legal thrillers as always. Prisoner's Dilemma is psychological thriller. अभी मैंने medical thriller तो explore ही नहीं करी because there is always this
Yes.
there are enough subgenres in crime and you can play. And there are various ways of writing a story. About Prisoner's Dilemma, like you like the past and present different going.
Yeah.
You don't have to go straight. So I have not closed my mind to write something else. Oh, जिस दिन idea आएगा, उस दिन I'll write in that. And also, I think genres is more कि भाई वो how do you, because what do you like? So there are certain shades there as well. भाई कोई रोमांस है एंड थ्रिलर भी है, कोई लीगल है एंड रोमांस भी है, तो इट्स अ मिक्सिंग ऑफ जॉनर एंड स्टफ. सो आई कांट से कब क्या लिखूंगा, बट अगर आएगी तो मैं आपको एकदम उठा के फोन करके बताऊंगा.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, sir. Okay, well, your book Rita Ferreira was going to be made into a movie or web series, I think. Yeah, series. So, how did you feel when they approached you? Or when you knew it was going to be turned into a web series?
Yes, no, I didn't know initially, but obviously when the offer came and they wanted all the 3 books for a multi-season series, it's a wonderful, kind of confidence in yourself. People saw the merit of the story, of the character. So वो अभी because of COVID, it's kind of derailed and क्या हो रहा है, but I think the producers are progressing with it. They have also made a series recently called The Breathe with Abhishek Bachchan.
Right.
And Shakuntala Devi bhi बनाई उन्होंने अभी. So they are big producers, so they will go through with it. So it's a wonderful feeling कि भाई people are kind of, the character was well drawn enough for people to be interested in it. And होता क्या है कि वो then now there are more people because they went ahead and signed up and then they released to the media. So Unlawful Justice has been procured by another producer. The Heist Artist has gone to another producer. Unlawful Justice की Cold Justice जब आएगी तो उस पे भी लोगों ने ऑप्शन रखा हुआ है कि आते ही बताना and all. So I think once you get into that space, then people see you more कि हाँ ये कर सकते हैं, ये हो सकता है. So it's a wonderful feeling, and my job is to tell story. Now whether it is told by the pages or whether it is told by the screen. And it's very, very good of, I don't know if you know, the Story Inc. is a company, Siddharth Jain, who is very, very kind of active in picking up books and, approaching the public. He knows what a producer is looking for and the story is looking for. So I've worked with him since 2017, perhaps. So anyone who's written a story, and he also accepts manuscripts even before they go to publishers. So if you have a story, by all means, who knows whether the story is meant for pages or the screen? As long as your story is there, is there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, did you like since when you were a child, were you always interested and intrigued towards the thrillers, suspense thrillers, or you used to like all the action genres as well? And did you write a book or a small story even when you were a child? It's a very cliched question.
ऐसे नहीं, I totally understand. I used to write for the school का एक bulletin होता था हमारे. लिख दिया, debate कर ली, dramatics कर लिया, you have to understand 20 years ago writing as a career wasn't kind of
right.
ये तो अब
हाँ,
lot of Indian writers आ गए हैं और
हाँ,
हम लिख रहे हैं एक
हम्म,
जमाने में तो it was we used to read foreign authors and अपना वो थोड़ा होता था
हाँ, हाँ,
so I didn't think writing was a career even today I don't think writing itself can
हम्म,
sustain a life. I mean, depending on what you want from life.
right.
Because I remember meeting a lot of people in Bangalore Literary Festival,
हम्म,
I think 3, 4, 5 years ago,
हम्म,
and people had come to pitch their books to वहाँ पे agents थे मैं तो ऐसे side में बैठा था agents and publishers were there
हम्म,
and they were like young boys and girls about 19, 20 who wanted to become a writer. Now I don't know if there is enough financial stuff there. So ऐसा मेरे दिमाग में राइटर बनने का कभी नहीं था. I told you I thought I'll write a book and get into it. And as luck would have had it, the book sold well, the story was captivating enough, people wanted more. And I've been lucky that people have liked my books. वो चलता जा रहा है. But नहीं ऐसा बचपन में कुछ नहीं था except writing, school bulletin में लिख दिया या कुछ, but not much of writing.
Okay. Okay. And another followed by another cliched question जो हमेशा ऐसा होता है कि writers are always interested जो आजू बाजू जो भी चल रहा है या जिससे भी मिल रहे हैं तो they pick up the characteristics from there. तो आप भी आई थिंक ऐसा करते होगे क्योंकि हमने देखा काफी जो आपकी स्टोरीज है दे आर बेस्ड ऑन द नॉर्मल जो लोग जैसे होते हैं वैसे ही इनके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एज वेल that Urfi is suppose he's very clumsy. Bale he is showing he is very clumsy, but still there are people like I myself am that kind of a person who always कहीं भी ऐसे who gets क्या बोल सकता है जैसे हाँ ऐसे कहीं पे भी ऐसे पैर लग गया उसका या किसी तरह जैसे हाँ तो were you influenced by
See,
कैसे कैसे कैरेक्टर हाँ
ऐसा कोई conscious effort नहीं होता, but I guess if once you start writing, because there are people, it's got nothing to do with being a writer. Some people observe more than others. अच्छा होता क्या है कि it just somehow gets into your subconscious. It's not like you actively decide कि यार ये आदमी क्या है, इसकी मूंछें कैसी हैं और इसके बाल कैसे हैं. It just so once you start writing, मैं क्या हूँ आजकल what life has become easier for us authors because you're always with a digital device. iPhone या Android तो होता ही है.
Right.
So if you what I do throughout the day नहीं जब भी if I come upon an idea or if I come upon a character या मुझे किसी कोई चीज पसंद आती है मैं वो notes में एक bullet point बना लेता हूँ so that it stays in your mind and you don't know where you will fit that character and which story will that character flow in but हाँ it is a nice thing to say कि भाई उसके बाल ऐसे थे और ऐसे क्या लग रहे थे और मतलब उसकी आंखें ऐसी दिख रही थी तो कहीं ना कहीं बाद में if you think it fits in you kind of place it in and then it because you've seen someone like that भाई आपको ये नहीं बोल सकता ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता अरे मैं देख के आया तो वो that way the characters play subconsciously in your mind and I would imagine आप भी कई बार देख के it's just like you see something on screen and you realize अरे इसकी शक्ल उससे मिलती है and then you forget the only thing you can remember is make a note कि अगली बार हाँ ठीक है वो देखा था ना तो उसका next time describe करना होगा तो वही फोटो खींच के I'll start kind of writing about it that's the way it does and then pick up people's habits people's hobbies मैं अपना भी लगाता रहता हूँ वो म्यूजिक का इधर उधर कुछ वो जो आप म्यूजिक सुनते हो या जो आपको विस्की पसंद है वो लगा देते हो वाली रीटा फरेरा क्या पीती है वो you have to build a character because you can't just say एक आदमी आया उसने मार के चला गया तो एक पेज में क्या so Rita stands for what she does what her romance is what her life is outside the work and what so that is where I strongly recommend everyone who writes that characters are a very important part so build the character let the character tell the story
right हाँ जैसे in this book आपने जो मुन्ना जी का एक्सप्रेस किया है like it is he is not a main character but you still expressed his back story as well in a very nice way in a very
आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो वहाँ गैरेज होगा मुन्ना जी बैठे होंगे क्लिप ठीक कर रहे होंगे 2-4 ज्ञान की बातें करेंगे बड़ा दिल है कुछ भी करवा सकते हैं तो वो you can happen in Delhi
right that is very important which I noticed in your book कि हाँ आपने भले साइड कैरेक्टर्स छोटा सा कैरेक्टर भी है फिर भी आपने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से उसको एक्सप्रेस किया है, डिस्क्राइब किया है.
और कोई भी एनीवन हु हैज बीन इन दिल्ली नोस कि उसने प्लॉट घेर रखा होगा, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आप कोर्ट
हाँ.
के कागज ले भी आओ तो कुछ नहीं होगा, मुन्ना जी का गैरेज खाली नहीं कर सकते. तो इट इज दैट काइंड ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव सीन, आई हैव सीन समवन इन अजमेर और समवन इन जयपुर की क्या लैंड घेर के बैठ गया है, कुछ नहीं कर सकते, तो गैरेज चला रहा है एंड देन ही विल टेक यू टू कोर्ट की मेरी तो
हाँ.
रोजी रोटी है, आप क्या करो. तो वो
Right.
दिस काइंड ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स आर, दे जस्ट ऐड टू द स्टोरी.
Right, right. Very true. Very true. Okay, I think that's it for today. Okay, thank you. Thank
Thank
you. It
you.
was wonderful talking to you.
Thank
And
you
I'm
very
sure the viewers also must have enjoyed it. Okay, looking forward to reading all of your books and the next ones as well.
much. Thank you,
Okay.
Drashti. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.